Okay, here we go again. Solve the polynomial equation. First step, I'm going to go through all the steps all over again so you can hear them again. First step, get everything to one side. I have this on the left side, this on the right side. Most things are already on the left, so I'm going to move it over to the left by doing the opposite. This is a positive 14x cubed, and now it's I do the opposite and subtract it. And that moves it over here. Right. I have to do, what do I do to one side? I have to do the other. So that goes away to 0. It cancels out to 0. And then I just have 2x to the fifth. And I'm going to write it in standard form, where I have descending exponents. And then plus 24x. I can't combine these because they don't have the same type of x. And then equals 0. So, step 1, get everything over to one side. Step 2. You try to factor completely using any technique that we have already used. So the first thing I can do here is I can divide it by 2x. Yes, everything divides by 2. So I can divide by 2x because the smallest exponent is just 1. So that's 2x. Alright, whatever I divide by goes on the outside of the parentheses. And then I divide, that will be x to the fourth minus 7x squared. Hey! Plus 12. Is that a 12? Is that a 12? Hello? And I can continue factoring. Looks like I can do an x factor problem because I have some exponent and then half of that exponent and then nothing. So yes, I can do my x factoring. This times this in the top. I can use the shortcut because this is 1. So I have the 12 there and then a negative 7. Don't forget the negative. Negative 7 in the bottom. And then dinner. Winner, chicken dinner. Then 12. What times what equals 12? 6 and 2? That doesn't work. So that would be 8 or 4. What else? 3 and 4. Oh, there it is. 3 and 4. It looks like both of them are negativo. And then, I have my 2x. Don't forget that. And then I can use my shortcut. Except for, remember, I must use an x squared. So it would be x squared minus 3. X squared, that minus 3 came from that. X squared minus 4. Now I can continue to factor that, right? Because that's a difference of squares. So that would be x and x. Remember, I'm square rooting it. So x, 2, and then plus and subtraction. And then equals 0. But I haven't written down the rest of the stuff. I can't do the difference of squares here because this one's not a perfect square. So I square root it, it's just root 3. It's just weird to write. So we're going to leave it. And then I have the 2x. So I factored as much as I can. The second to last step, actually it's the last step, is to solve, no. To set each piece involving a variable. So this piece, and this piece. Set each of those equal to 0 and solve. So I have 2x equals 0. Well, that's just x equals 0, right? X equals 0. That's one of my answers. Bam! And then I have, this piece. X squared. Oh, it's different. Equals 0. Well, I can add 3 to both sides. That goes away. X squared equals 3. Wait, how do I get rid of the square root? Hopefully you remember this. You can... how do I get rid of the square? I can square root both sides. But remember, every time you use the square root, you gotta have plus or minus. So then that's just plus or minus the square root of 3, whatever that is. Because remember, if I plugged in a positive 3 here, I'd square it and then... a positive root 3, I'd square it and I'd get 3. Or a negative. It doesn't matter. You just have to do a plus or minus every time you do a square root. And then x plus 2 equals 0. You can just look at this and solve it. X equals negative 2. Same with this part. You can just do the opposite, right? X minus 2 equals 0. Well, I add the 2 over. X equals 2. and I just solved my equation. I'm going to do a weirder looking one. These ones kind of were similar. I mean, I guess it was nice to see this part, because to get rid of the square, use square root both sides. Don't forget the plus and minus.